Yo, what is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 5 of our Ruining Manchester City series here on Football Manager 2015. And you guys have been loving this, you've been demanding more episodes, and I've kind of been holding off a little bit, but I've now simulated into the future, and we're going to be seeing what's happening following us jumping ship from the club at the end of last season. Just a quick thing before I get into this. If you don't follow me on Twitter, I don't really plug my social media in videos, go follow me on Twitter. There's a link down in the video description. I tweet about Football Manager and stuff. Anyway, let's get into today's episode, shall we? So, last episode we left off, Zidane was in charge of Manchester City and they were starting their championship campaign, and they've changed manager. They've gone and moved to, oh gosh, we'll just call him Paco because I'm not going to be able to say that last name. You guys, if you come to my channel looking for pronunciations, this is not the place for you. Spaniard, though. I can't say I know this guy. I don't follow Spanish football massively, if I'm honest. It looks like... Okay, so he's managed Tel Aviv, so that might explain why I don't know him. So he's moved from the Titans of Israeli football? Israeli? Yes, Israeli football, and he joined Manchester City, and he joined them in March, so things clearly not going to plan for Zidane. So I guess we'll see what the league table looks like, and Blackburn winning the playoffs. So if we look at the league, boom. So Newcastle, Fulham going up, where's City? 22nd, wow, okay, so they've gone straight back down, again, they're on the road down, Manchester City. So they got relegated here, you can see. Obviously, that's last season, and then they've been relegated again. How close were they to staying up? 1 point. Wow, okay. How did the end of season go? That's the interesting thing. So they actually... Okay, they had a good start to the season, really, and then it's all gone horribly, horribly downhill. But in their last 3 games, they got 1 point, and they lost on the last game of the season. What did Bournemouth do? That's the question. Okay, so they were equally as bad. I was wondering if Manchester City went down like on the last day of the season. If we look, actually, we can look at their past positions. So looking at it this year, they had a great start, and for a little bit, first few weeks, first maybe quarter of the season, they were looking like a top half team, and then it all just went horribly wrong from Christmas, really. So let's have a look at the transfers, because we kind of ruined Manchester City financially. If we look at their player wages, you can see... yeah, the wages are just ludicrous on some of their players. I wonder if they must have demoted all the players. Wow. So their reserves is the most expensive reserve team in the world. It's not going great for them. It's not going great, is it? They got relegated. Did they have any decent goal scorers? Did they? Anyone look any good? Okay, so the top goal scorer got 20. Jordan Bowery. Bowery. How did he get on? He signed from Rotherham for 1.7 million, and he tried as hard as he could, but it wasn't enough. Did they sign anyone in January? Let's have a look. So, January, they actually signed a few players. They got a few loanees, and then Hugo Calais. Doesn't look like anything special, a bit old. On the outs, did they let anyone go? They let Negredo go for 20 million to Valencia, in fact. Yeah, they let him go. But they didn't let anyone go any time later. Oh, they've loaned out Henry Muggeridge to Barrow. The record transfer for £200 million loaned out to Barrow in the Vanarama North. That's not looking too great. Let's have a look at Lewis, because of course we did sign 2 of their players off them for crazy money. Unfortunately, because they're in an inactive league, we can't actually see their progress just yet. But we'll keep an eye on that in the coming episodes. Yeah, not looking great, is it? They've changed manager once, City... They've gone down, their manager didn't change their fortunes. They've still got a few big players like Fernandinho and stuff, so things could be worse, I guess. In the Capital One Cup, they went out early. In the FA Cup, they went out in the 3rd round. If we look at their bank balance real quick, using the editor, you can see they actually have a really healthy bank balance. I think the reason that will be the case is because the board are probably pumping in money to prevent them going basically down the shitter, but they've got a £480 million bank balance. But obviously they're just draining that really, really quickly. Well, anyway, I want to say it's the ideal start to see them go back down. I think it'll be interesting to see how they can recover now, Manchester City, see if they can get back up, because they have got a few players like Fernandinho still in their side. So I'm going to skip forward and we'll review one more season of progress of Man City this episode. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay guys, so we are back and it's now Season 3 of this save, I guess technically. Season 2 of life after me ruining the club. There's something that's jumping out to me immediately, and the first thing is they've not sacked their manager, but this is jumping out. They lost to Spurs on penalty in the last game of the season, which can only mean they got to the FA Cup final, which would be weird. They lost the FA Cup final 1-1 on penalties. Where did Spurs finish? Because if Spurs finished, I think, in the top 5, that means Man City get a European spot. Okay, I think, and I might be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure Man City will get a European Europa League spot next season from Spurs. So if that's the case, that's mad. Really. Let's see how they did in the league as a League One squad. League table, they finished top. It looks like they walked the league quite comfortably. Let's have a look here. So, Zuccolini taking the lead as captain, a player who starts at Manchester City. One of the players who I couldn't get rid of, and he now captains the side. And they've also got Rekic as well, who I also couldn't get rid of during my time at the club because they were both out on loan, the two players. But two very good players for League One. Look like they've carried the side quite hard. If we look at it, Bowery getting the top goal scorer award in the squad, I guess, at least, and also Vlasic getting a lot of goals in League One. So what we're seeing here is now that the players who I couldn't get rid of at Man City, the kind of under-21s players who are out on loan, have suddenly kind of stepped up. Looking at the wages, Jack Eden is on 650k. That 50% yearly wage rise that we put in all the players' clauses is going to be coming into effect. If we look at the under-21s, you can see a very similar pattern here. How are the club finances looking? So they've still got a load of money in their bank, but their wage budget is currently set at £4 million, which for a League One team isn't too good. And they're without a sugar daddy. The board have either stepped down or have sold on the club. New chairman, consortium has taken over, so they've sold out. They've sold out. Sheikh Mansour has left. I'm not going to try and say his entire name. We'll just call him the Sheikh. He's left. He's run off with all his oil money. And that's going to be weird to see how Man City now cope. So I can't believe they got to the FA Cup final. That's weird. If we look at the League One, they walk the league quite comfortably. They don't have loads of players really high up. Thomas Drag, I guess, doing really well for them. But yeah, if Man City have a Europa League spot, which I'm 99.9% sure they will, the next episode's going to be a cracker to see how they get on. But they still have their stadium. They had a really good season and they're going to be back in the Championship. Be interesting to see how they can juggle Europa League and Championship football, because there's going to be quite a lot of fixtures to squeeze in there. But yeah, I guess that's going to wrap things up here, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed episode 5 of Ruining Manchester City. As I said at the start, apologies for the delay between episodes. I'm going to try and get the future episodes of these up at least every week. I'll try and get them up as frequently as possible. If you could drop some likes on the video, that would be incredible. Let's say, I don't know, if we could get 750 likes, you guys love this series anyway, that would be amazing. I'd greatly appreciate it. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys on the next video. See how Man City do in Europe and see how Man City do without all their oil money. So I'll join you guys next time.